Refuse my mother entry to your horse track? Don't expect access to our personal road? My grandpa owned this chunk of land right next to a horse race track, and honestly, it was perfect placement. Their property almost completely surrounded his, except grandpa had access to this super busy public road. The racetrack had their exercise track on one side of his land and their main stadium track on the other side. So back when they first built the place, the racetrack guys came over and asked grandpa if they could move their horses across his property. There was already this maintenance road going through his land, and since it was just horses walking through, he figured why not. Plus, these guys actually supported the local community, so grandpa was cool with it. As a thank you, they told him he and any guests could watch the races for free. Normally cost about $5, which wasn't huge money, but it meant grandpa could take me and all my cousins to see the horses without paying anything. We'd go every few weeks during racing season, and it was awesome. But then grandpa passed away, and mom inherited the land. She wanted to keep the tradition going, so she took my niece to see the horses, just like grandpa used to do with us. She gets to the counter expecting free admission, but they tell her she has to pay. Mom figured they just didn't know she owned the land now, so no big deal. But when she contacted them afterwards to explain the situation, they basically told her to pound sand, said the free admission thing was a one-time deal they had with grandpa, and now that he was gone, the deal was off too. Mom was pretty ticked off about this. I mean, they were still using our road to move their horses, but suddenly we weren't good enough for free tickets? That didn't sit right with any of us. So a few months later, mom had planned to cut down some trees on the property for lumber anyway. She had these contractors coming out to do the work, and the day before they showed up, she had this brilliant idea. She told the contractors to accidentally leave a couple logs right across the maintenance road after they finished cutting. The next morning, the racetrack people showed up with their horses like usual, but surprise, they couldn't get through. These logs weren't small either. Probably took 3 guys to move each one. The horses couldn't step over them, and there was no way around because of how the road was positioned. So now these guys had to load all their horses onto trailers and drive them around to the busy public road instead. This was a massive pain because the public road had tons of traffic, making it dangerous to unload horses, plus it took them like 40 minutes longer each way. By noon, mom's phone was ringing. The racetrack manager was calling to discuss the situation. Mom played dumb, saying she didn't know anything about logs blocking the road. Must have been those contractors, you know how they are, leaving their equipment everywhere. The manager asked if she could have them moved. Mom said sure, but it would probably cost money to get a crew out there, and she wasn't really motivated to spend her own cash on it. He got the hint and asked what it would take. Mom told him straight up they wanted the same deal grandpa had, or they could keep using the public road. The manager said he'd have to talk to his bosses and hung up. 2 days passed, and they were still loading horses on the dangerous public road. Mom got another call, this time from someone higher up. He was apologetic, saying they'd made a mistake, and would she please accept the same arrangement her father had? Mom just laughed and said, "I thought you said that was a one-time deal that was off now?" He started stammering about how they could work something out, but mom wasn't done. She told him that since they'd decided to be jerks about it, she wanted compensation for all the years they'd been using her road without paying anything. Plus, free admission wasn't enough anymore. She wanted money. The guy protested that they couldn't afford much, but mom pointed out they were losing way more money having to use the public road. Between the extra time, the safety issues, and the angry horse owners complaining about delays, they were hemorrhaging cash. After about a week of negotiations, they agreed to pay mom $400 every month, plus free admission for her and any guests. The logs got moved that same day.